right, babies. It's that time again. Oh, yeah. We are in Joshua 23. And believe it or not, I'm actually going to say something about it. Other than just dismiss it as nonsense. There's still a good deal of nonsense in it, but there's some things I think we can glean from it, which I don't really think you can when you get promises of God at the expense of genocide. No. So, well, the first thing that comes to mind is, the book is always talking about, including this chapter, that God has delivered Israel in every case from its enemies. And what's glaringly missing is why these nations are considered enemies. Might it be that they're creating enemies by forcing themselves both culturally and militarily on independent peoples? Hello. Why would a nation just attack Israel? What threat are they if they're not creating this reputation of being military exploiters, or at least military aggravants? That's one unanswered question. The other one is, well, this one's not really unanswered. I think this one is more of a concern. Is we have evidence that a lot of this stuff never existed. There's no evidence of the conquest of Canaan. It's more likely that Israel was just absorbed into Canaanite culture and developed these military legends around 800 BC to give them an identity and a hope for the future. So that the stories are like, if we were to take it literally, occurred hundreds of years before 800 BC. And so a lot of it is created in the context of battles around 800 BC. when they did have weaponry to come against these huge military nations like Assyria, not hundreds of years earlier, when they were barely coming out of pastoral living in the highlands. So those are problems. What's not too bad is that even though these are stories and having very little evidence of actually occurring, you see in Christian life today that God is demonstrative in his support of those who believe these things. And why is that? Personally, I think it's because God is honored when we trust him. So if he communicates something to us, i.e., giving us his word, and we trust in it wholeheartedly, then he will absolutely bless that faith. Even if it's based on misinformation of believing a moral story to give you hope rather than a factual occurrence. Yeah, baby. That's the best I can make sense out of it. Maybe you have a better one. Let me know. So there's language in this 23rd chapter of Joshua where it says God fought the battles. And I experienced that in my own life. You trust God, put it in his hands, he'll work out the details. Everything works out well. Let's say his way is still unhindered and his will is unhindered, because his will is really to build us up in his character. Now lately I've been put to the test to the nth degree in patience, and I have been failing miserably. So where in that would you say, how is God fighting that battle? Well, you can't really fight that battle. It's more of us surrendering in these opportunities and learning to trust him. And in that sense, he fights the battle by giving us the ability to distance ourselves from our emotions and just trust him. Like I said, I'm not doing well with that right now. I'm working on it. So yeah, and then Joshua says, it's kind of like his last words, because it opens up like, I'm old now, and so this is my parting words to you. And he basically says, stay true to God, and he will continue to protect you. And if you intermarry with these people whose land you seize and take away from them, well, then he's going to destroy you. So, again, I think it's more helpful to see that these things were written in a difficult time where Israel was in captivity, was under other authority, and to give themselves hope in that, in the potential challenges and military events, these stories of God's protection in every case give them hope for their current battles, which were somewhere around 800 BC. All right, there you have it.